Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and this is BP NFL. With me, as always, the Undertaker every Monday morning to play a little Monday morning quarterback, look backwards, but really look ahead to the week that is Week 6 in the NFL, and we're excited to do that. A nice bounce back in Week 5. Oh, baby, what a week it was. 10-3. Follow me at bettingpros.com/Joe. And follow Erickson there as well, bettingpros.com/Erickson, so you can hang with us now. Terrell Furman's not here today. He's not usually doing the Monday Look Ahead show, but I can tell you on Thursday, you're not going to want to miss that show because I am going to give him all he can handle after Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings beat up on the Jets. That's right. I don't care if it got tight at the... I don't care. They didn't cover. They didn't win. Go Vikings. Go Sam Darnold. I am so happy. I know the kids talk about it. They manifest things to happen. I feel like I manifested the Sam Darnold victory. Erickson, I'm in such a good mood after yesterday morning.
Yeah, no, it was a great way to start off the week of football. Yesterday was one of the longest days of football ever, basically, because you had games starting. Yeah, you had games starting Sunday morning, going all the way to Monday morning, essentially. So we had almost a 20-hour cycle of just nonstop football. So we've been stimulated to the highest extent you could ask for possible, but here we are, back ready for Week 6, back for more punishment. Let's go.
Yeah. Yes, more punishment, more buys, hopefully more profits too, because that's what we've been doing here. Before we get to the games, quick reminder, free stuff. We gave away the Nick Chubb helmet, but now we've got the old school Michael Strahan Giants jersey we're giving away. Giants coming off a huge victory, so you're feeling good. You want that Strahan jersey? Well, there's only one way to get it for free, courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com. All you need to do is head to bettingpros.com/contest, complete the form, and either download the Betting Pros app, leave a review of the Betting Pros podcast, or subscribe to our social media channels, Betting Pros on X, on TikTok, and Betting Pros NFL on Instagram. The more actions you complete, the more entries you'll receive, and we'll be announcing the winner right here on the channel. So make sure you turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and you can claim your prize. All right, let's get after it. We've still got one game left to play, the upset special of the week. I don't know how Erickson's feeling about it. Maybe we'll talk about it at the end of the show. But
I will say, I feel less confident about it because we already got so many upsets already this week. Are we really going to roll in another upset?
We're rolling. So. We're rolling. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's go to San Francisco, who's coming off a loss to the Arizona Cardinals, which we talked about. Arizona always plays them tough. They always do. And this time, just a little too tough. Seattle coming off a loss of their own to the New York Giants. Now that's more embarrassing. Sorry, folks. But Seattle at home in this one. They are 3-point underdogs at home. 47.5 is the number, plus 135 on the money line for Seattle. I'm going to keep this simple, Andrew. I think the San Francisco 49ers get pissed off, go out there, beat up on Seattle a little bit. Seattle has shown you once the competition gets a little bit better, all of a sudden they kind of fade to the background a little bit. That's my feeling. Now, Seattle had some opportunities in that game too that they failed to connect on. A couple mistakes there as well. We know that, but I'm on the San Francisco side of this game with the 3. 47.5 feels about right to me, so I don't like that number. What are your thoughts?
I think I like the under in this game, to be honest.
Okay.
I think that both these teams are a bit overrated, and you saw that last week, right? Both heavy home favorites lost outright to two different teams. I think the Seahawks is worse because they lost to the New York Giants, and I don't think that game was, again, like you said, they had some chances. The 49ers definitely got dealt a poor hand. They lost their kicker. That really kind of changes the dynamic of the game, and I'm interested to see what they do. Again, at least they'll probably have a kicker for this particular matchup, so that does make it so they don't have to go for it every single time on fourth down. So I do give the edge to the 49ers here as favorites, but I don't really like them giving or laying this amount of points. I think for me, I like the under.
All right, let's get to the next one here. Jacksonville at Chicago. The Bears are 3-2. Jacksonville finally got their first W, so they're going to travel to Chicago in this one. Chicago 1.5-point favorite, so it's practically a pick 'em. 43.5 is the number for this one, plus 105 on the Jag side of things. Bigsby with some big moments. A little bit explosive run game there. That's good. I don't know if we're ever going to get Evan Ingram back playing football. I mean, this is just lingering forever. I think if we do, I like the Jacksonville side of this game, right on the money line, plus 105. If you get Ingram back, I think that's like that missing piece for him, where he just doesn't look like the same guy, which is so weird. And Brian Thomas has been that dude, and you were way ahead of that curve, Andrew. But where do you see this one when you're looking ahead? Any early value?
So you said this game is not in Chicago. This is a London game.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
That's right. They're
the
a
Bears,
home team in London.
yes,
My apologies.
yes, the
my apologies.
the Bears are they're the home team. So
Right.
I don't understand this line at all. I think Jacksonville should be favored.
Oh, it's
This
London.
team
Forget it.
plays
It's
in-
a home game for
this-
the Jags. What am I saying?
They have the advantage playing in London. We see this all the time with these teams. London has wacky games, and even again, the Vikings beat the Jets, but the Jets came crawling back after being basically dominated in the first half. So yeah, you're having a rookie quarterback making his first start internationally, right? What's that going to be like? That experience. So I like the Jags here. They need to build momentum. Traditionally, I think it's probably good for them. Hey, let's get away. They have back-to-back games in London because they have this game and they're also playing next week in London as well. So they're focused on football. Getting the win, I think, was huge against Indianapolis Colts in a shootout. I think the Jaguars are to build momentum here. I honestly don't understand why the Jags are not favored here. They are the home team, right? So are the Bears getting credit?
It's
They're
record.
not.
No, it's record. It's the fact that Jags are 1-4 and Chicago's 3-2. That's why it's slightly on that side. That's why I'm just going straight to the money line, Jags plus money. And I totally forgot that I should have looked at the time there for this game. But it is, like you said, it's practically a home game. They are so comfortable in that environment because they've been there so many times, and rookie quarterback traveling out there leaves a lot to be decided. What about the over-under 43? You think it lives up to that, or you think it goes under?
I think under. Look, the
I
under
tend to
went
look
with
that
the
way, too.
Vikings and Jets game. I think that just betting, that's 6 straight unders for these international games dating back to last year. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Undertaker has spoken.
New Orleans, we'll see what they do tonight. They're going to host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers regardless next week. So, again, early value is always tricky on these teams that haven't played yet on Monday night because you don't know if there's injuries to account for. But as of right now, New Orleans, 2.5-point favorites at home. 45.5 is the number. Plus 120 on the Tampa Bay money line. Tampa taking a tough loss Thursday Night Football. They've got some extra time here, though, to think about it after losing to the Falcons. So this is a huge game for the Buccaneers because you can't keep losing games in this division and expect to win this division. It's going to get real tight at the end there if you keep doing that. So what are your thoughts on this one?
I think the value is all on the Buccaneers. We just saw this play out with the New York Giants Seahawks game, right? You had the Giants playing a Thursday game, play on the road against a team playing on Monday night of the same week. And who ended up winning? The team that had extra rest. I think that Tampa Bay, on a neutral field, I think Tampa Bay is probably better than New Orleans. Baker Mayfield is balling out right now every single week, except for that one game against Denver. And what? Denver's defense is legit. Denver might have the best defense in the NFL. So if Baker Mayfield, that's his only bad game, I love the Bucs. I think this is where you get the value, and especially after I think the Saints show up pretty well against the Chiefs, I think you're going to see that value maybe dissipate a little bit. So I like Tampa Bay here.
Arizona coming off a huge upset, going to Green Bay. Green Bay took care of business, but they were disappointing. Let's be honest. Some of the props that I wanted there, Wicks was disappointing. Reed didn't get in the end zone. Tucker Kraft, thank goodness, saved the day. Good for you, yes. Tucker. Well done. Waiver wire ad of the week for tight end last week on the FP show. So Green Bay, 5-point favorites. Feels like a big number, but I don't think it is. I think Green Bay is the superior team, and defensively, certainly as well. They keep getting turnovers every single week. McKinney's been unbelievable. 50 is the total for this game, plus 198 for the Arizona Cardinals. 5 is fine. I'm comfortable here at the 5. I think they can win this by a touchdown. So give me Green Bay with the touchdown here in the early look ahead. How about you, Erickson?
I like the under. I think that this is really high of a total. We're seeing these kind of incomplete games from Jordan Love. Again, he's coming back from the injury. So there are points where he looks like a superstar. There are points where, dude, what are you doing, man? Like, what's going on? Like the pick 6 in this past game. What are we doing here, Jordan Love? Don't, you're not Anthony Richardson. We know you're better than him. So I think for me, it's just a really high total. When you look at the Cardinals, they've had 2 games against high-powered offenses, Detroit Lions a couple weeks ago, 49ers. They've thrown shutouts in the second halves of games. So the Cardinals defense has shown at times the ability to stop high-powered offenses. So just given total at 50 points on the road against Green Bay, I actually like the under here.
Next one up here, the Indianapolis Colts and Tennessee Titans. Now, this line could move depending on who is playing quarterback. Is Richardson back? Is Flacco going to start again? We don't know. That's why we're here at the early line. But what we're trying to do is also use the tools here at BettingPros. So you can get custom line alerts. Again, when you download the app, you can set it for certain games and you can see how that line moves throughout the week. And that's a great tool over on the BettingPros app. Again, download it on iOS, Android, sync your sportsbooks for free. And watch the line movement here because this one definitely is going to have some of that this season, in this week, rather, excuse me. So Indianapolis, Tennessee, right now it's practically a pick 'em. You got Tennessee -1 because they're at home. 42.5 is the number, minus 110 on both teams for the money line. My initial instinct is just to take the Colts and just take the Colts at minus 110 on the money line, find a way to win. You've seen Josh Downs start to emerge. Now it's been with Flacco, so does that carry over with Richardson? I don't know. But regardless, I think the Colts are the side I want to be on this one, and I think I'm okay betting it early. However, if maybe Richardson does play and the market doesn't like that as much and people are concerned because Richardson's been underwhelming, you might actually get a better number if you wait. Erickson, what's your take on this one as you're trying to look into the future? It's a Sunday.
I think I'm just going to pause on this game.
That's
I
fair.
don't feel as comfortable throwing my money where things can change dramatically. The Colts offense is totally different with Richardson. And what about Jonathan Taylor? Another factor. And what about the Titans defense? Titans defense is not the Jaguars defense. They're very different animals. Titans, I think, are a much better defense overall against the run in the pass. We knew that the Jaguars could get thrown on. So it was no surprise to see Joe Flacco drop back to throw for so many yards. I think for me, I'm going to wait and see to see the reports. I want to see where the things are trending when it comes to quarterback. If Shane Steichen was smart, he wouldn't announce quarterback till Sunday, right? Make the Titans prepare for both quarterbacks, just like he did against Jacksonville. And the team probably knew all week that Joe Flacco was going to start, right? We got the report on Friday that Flacco was taking all the first team reps. So I lean with you where, hey, if it's trending where it's Flacco is going in this matchup, I think you're going to see maybe the lines flip to the Colts. And then I'm okay taking even at a lesser value because Colts, usually they only win as favorites. Last week they weren't favorites and they lost outright. So I want to see the line and the movement go towards Indianapolis before I decide to back them.
This next one has me a little nervous because I don't think you can keep going on with this Deshaun Watson experiment. Like I can't do it anymore. I said this on the FP show. I'm going to say it again here on the BP show today, which is you can't live in a mistake just because you made a long time making that mistake. And you know, you've made years now of this mistake with Deshaun Watson. At a certain point, you have to stop and give Winston a chance to see what you can get out of this offense. Philly is favored by 9 in this one coming off a bye, which I do like Philly coming off the bye. The assumption is you're going to have all the wide receivers back, so I get this. My worst fear is Philly goes up, Watson looks terrible, Winston comes in, and all of a sudden this game gets oddly close. That is my big fear because I don't trust the secondary of the Philadelphia Eagles at all. 44.5 is the number, plus 350 for Cleveland to win this outright. Now, I'm not going there, but my early inclination is to take the 9 and hope for that scenario. Now, I know that's a little bit of wishing and hoping, but there's just something about this one that just does not feel comfortable. It's a big number, and the Eagles have not made me confident, nor has Nick Sirianni in his decision-making process. He goes for fourth downs in weird moments where I don't think he should. I think he should take the points, and that's the kind of crap that comes back to haunt you in games later on when they get too tight. So, Cleveland isn't good. Deshaun Watson is not good at all, but there's something about this game that feels like a trap to me, Andrew.
Oh, 100%. 9.5 points. Oh my God. I can't. Not with the Eagles. Oh, gross. I'm not touching sides in this matchup again. It's too many points. I get it's Deshaun Watson. Nobody wants to bet on him. The offensive line is horrible. Totally understand all those reasons, but it's the Eagles we're talking about, right?
Right.
They don't cover these massive spreads. It's hard to cover this massive amount of a spread, especially when we know Watson's going to be the quarterback. I think, at least in my opinion, it's not coming from the coaching staff. I think the coach would want to take him out, but it's coming from management that no, Deshaun Watson's the starter. I mean, that's the reason why Joe Flacco's not there anymore, right? Because management said, no, we're not bringing back Joe Flacco. We don't want this QB controversy, even though he's the best option for us. That's not going to happen. So unless Watson gets hurt, I think he's going to continue to play and be under center. And I don't know. He gets banged up. He gets hit a lot. So we'll see how long he lasts. But for me, I do like the over in this game. We saw yesterday, Commanders and Browns. I bet I liked was the over in that game. And the Browns basically did nothing on offense, but we still got there because the Washington Commanders did their thing offensively. So going back to, hey, I expect the Eagles to get their playmakers back. I expect them to score points in this matchup. There you go. Maybe we get an over here. And we know Deshaun Watson. Again, do you think things are going to get wacky? Well, wacky leads to points. So that's why I like the over here as opposed to picking sides.
I think that's really good logic, Andrew. I think the 44.5 actually that's pretty solid. It's right there. I'm with you. Let's go the over together. Houston, New England. It's New England. Oh, it's an under. It's just an under. Just keep betting the under forever and ever. It doesn't matter. I told you last week, like the Dolphins coming in, what was it 35? I think it was last week, right? With the Dolphins, I want to say that number was.
I mean, I was projecting a 10-7 game, and even if Jalen Polk Even if that touchdown counts, it doesn't matter. The game still would have gone under.
Come on, man. All right. So anyway, Houston Texans, New England. The number is 38.5. The Houston Texans on the road are favored by 7. The offensive line is absolutely dreadful for the New England Patriots. You can't put Drake May back there. I know he can run, but he's gonna have to run for his life if you do that. So I'm not trying to do that. That's not what you want to do with your number one prospect there right away. So for me, I'm taking the under in this game. That's it. That's all that's appealing to me. I don't care about the 7. I don't care about anything else. I'd rather just bet 2 units on the under and just walk away. Your thoughts?
I concur.
Right.
I think you
Let's
should
go.
bet on the under, and I don't understand the desire for seeing Drake May under center behind an XFL offensive line. What's the point? What's the point of doing that? Just putting him out there to develop bad habits, to take sacks, to take hits. That's not going to be conducive to his growth as an NFL quarterback. He's a really young player.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, yes, eventually, last 4 weeks of the season, okay, sure. Throw him in there, get him some live reps. We also don't know how long Jacoby Brissett is going to last behind this offensive line taking the beating. Brissett takes more hits than passes seemingly every single week. So I agree. The under is the play here.
All right, next one here. This is fun. Lamar Jackson 1.0 against Lamar Jackson 2.0. The Washington Commanders and the Ravens are going to hook up here. The Commanders 4-1. Are they this year's Texans, Andrew Erickson? They certainly feel like it.
I mean, they're following the exact same footsteps because now, just like last year when Stroud started heating up, we talked about not C.J. Stroud for Offensive Rookie of the Year, but C.J. Stroud for MVP. And now when you're looking at, hey, the MVP goes to the quarterback on the best team, well, the Commanders 4-1. That's a really strong record for a team. And why are they good? Because of Jaden Daniels. So he's checking off the boxes of, yes, I mean, the Rookie of the Year, that conversation is gone, locked and loaded, baby. But now is MVP. Is that too aggressive with him? I don't know.
It's too aggressive now, but the thing is,
Lamar?
if he beats Lamar in this game, that narrative is going to change considerably. Like, people are going to start looking and go, hey, maybe we should be betting this. And look, if you were with us early in the year, we told you plus 650 on Jaden Daniels before the season started for Rookie of the Year was the bet to make. Not Caleb Williams, not Marvin Harrison, not Malik Neighbors. It was Jaden Daniels. And like Andrew said, and I doubled down on it when it went to, I think it went to minus 110 or something.
Yeah,
when
minus 110, I believe.
Yeah. So I doubled down on it and just bet it with a bigger unit again, just because.
What's it got to be now? Probably.
Minus 300. I didn't even look this morning.
Yeah.
But look, interesting one because Baltimore is favored by 6.5, which understandably so. Washington's defense has some issues. The Ravens have gotten their you-know-what together. 51.5 is the number. That's a big number here. Plus 235. So the Ravens and Bengals coming off that game where those games always have high totals. Those two teams are very familiar with each other. They go at it. I kind of wonder here if the under is the approach. It's such a big number. Do we get something that's a little bit more of a tighter contest, a little bit more of a tug of war? I don't know, but this one's a great game. I just want to watch and I want to bet some individual props, but the game itself has a lot of volatility because the Ravens have shown you they've had some hiccups before, and the Washington Commanders, as good as they have been, I don't want to anoint them as an elite NFL team quite yet, despite the fact that Jaden Daniels is playing like an elite quarterback. So where do you stand on this one?
Yeah, this is a fascinating game, and it feels so bad to be on the side of, well, looks like the under's in the play with these two exciting quarterbacks in this offense, the two MVP candidates.
But let's dial it back to last week. Josh Allen, CJ Stroud. High number. Everybody was gooing themselves about the over, and we were sitting here talking about, no, you play the under on this game. These two offenses have been a little flat at times, made some mistakes, and guess what? The under played out. I'm going to take that logic and go back to this one too. I think people get so hyped up, and I would not be shocked if this number goes from 51.5 higher at some point, because people are going to talk about this game all week. So if you do want the under, maybe wait on it till Friday and then see what it's at. Again, that's my 2 cents. What's yours? Do
you think that Washington, because of, again, the hype machine, do you think that this spread closes a little bit in Washington's favor, where we're getting more maybe Washington +6? Is this the best number for Washington, or do you think it's going to be more about, no, you got to bet on the Ravens. They're at home. They're going to smash the Commanders. Their defense, I know they've been good the last 2 weeks, or better the last 2 weeks, but they're still a horrible defense overall on the season. Where do you kind of foresee this line movement, or do you think it just stays at +6.5?
I think it's going to stay. I think what you're saying is not wild to think about. I do think it stays there because I think It's still an unproven team. The Ravens are still, they still got the reigning MVP playing, all that stuff. It's in Baltimore. I find it hard to believe. Maybe it'll move to the 6, maybe, but I don't know. I think the 6.5 is probably where you're going to see it by the time we get to Sunday. But it's a good question.
I still agree that, again, I think the under is probably the move. As much not fun that is.
No, it's not
probably
fun.
the right move. It's probably the right move to make.
It's not fun at all. But this could definitely be a 23-20 game. Let's not pretend like it can't be. And still be a good one. Like, it still be a fun football game. Mm-hmm. But it might just underperform a tad. Los Angeles, 2-2. The Chargers against the Denver Broncos. Look at Denver Bronco defense really kind of locking in here last couple weeks. -2 on the side of the Chargers going to Denver. I like Denver. Give me Denver with the points +2. I'm sorry. I don't know. It's ugly. This might be the Joey P close your eyes special of the week. I don't know. Under 37 for me. That's also where I am on this game. And then might as well go Denver on the money line +115. Just sweep the board on the Denver side. Give me the low scoring Denver grind out. Find a way to win weird, because that seems to be the direction they're going. I know the Chargers are coming off a bye, but it is traveling to Denver, and Denver typically also from an environment standpoint is a little tougher to play.
For me, it depends on what the health of the Chargers players are.
Fair.
Do they have the tackles back? What's Justin Herbert's status? Because they're a completely different team when their stars are injured, right? So I agree right now. Without knowing that information, I like the under.
If I'm guessing that information isn't good, I'm betting this now, because I do think it will change the more you get news about, the tackles aren't going to play again, and this guy's not going to play again. The bye week wasn't enough. Could be. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming off 2 straight losses, unfortunately. One at home to the Cowboys last night. But they're going to take on the Raiders, and that's where you get right, folks. They are 3-point favorites in Las Vegas next week here. 37.5 is the number, +136. Just give me Pittsburgh with the 3 points. Get back on track game. They had some delays last night. A really tough loss on the road to the Colts. So this is the get-right game for the Steelers, in my opinion. Andrew, what do you think?
I agree. I think that we're looking at, even though the Steelers are coming off back-to-back losses, which team do you think is reeling here? Mm-hmm. The Steelers or the Las Vegas Raiders? The Raiders don't even know who their quarterback is, right? Antonio Pierce is pulling some desperation moves where, Minshew's throwing 2 picks. All right, I got to change the quarterback, but Aiden O'Connell can't move behind an offensive line that can't block. So there's so much drama with this Raiders team right now. I know last year, Antonio Pierce, no expectations, and he performed well. But this year, they've come in with expectations, and so far, it's been underwhelming, especially on the defensive side of the football, where that's where they're supposed to have their strength. And you hear Max Crosby talking about, this is just how it is, with the Devontae Adams saga going on. I think that the Steelers get back on track as well.
Atlanta at Carolina. Atlanta 5.5-point favorites. Honestly, I don't think that's enough. I would have set this at 8.5. Sorry. Falcons with extra time to rest, looking as good as they did in that last game. I'm telling you, just leave those guys alone. Give Kirk Cousins some time to get comfortable, and he is getting very comfortable with these weapons, with Mooney, with London. Dare I say Kyle Pitts? Dare I? They've got 2 running backs worthy of the salt there. 48.5 is the number for this one. I'm staying away from the total because I don't know what Carolina team shows up there. Leggett got hurt last week too. +185 on the Carolina side. You can take that away too. Give me Atlanta. Give me the 5.5. And I think I'm going to lock this in early because I could see this one moving to 6.5 very soon.
I'm taking the under. I think 48.5 is way too high. We saw, what was Ravens and Bengals? Was that 49.5? Are we really comparing these 2 games? I can't believe that this number is this high. I get the Falcons. Offense looked explosive. That's going to probably be their best offensive game of the season. He threw for 500 yards. That's not going to happen again. So this is totally recency bias based on this massive number. I know Dalton's had some decent games. Look, the Falcons defense, take it or leave it. It's not great. They have issues, but I don't think it's the bottom worst defense in the NFL where you're going to see Andy Dalton just light up the scoreboard. Carolina's playing at home. I just don't think the Falcons offense is going to be as efficient as it was against Tampa Bay, who's still down a bunch of corners in their secondary. So I still like the under here.
Is this the point where I'm supposed to shake you and say, stop putting faith in the Carolina Panthers?
Well, I'm betting against their offense scoring points, so that's not betting with them.
5.5. Take it. Lock it in. That's my favorite early lock of the week. Detroit and Dallas. Now, this is an interesting one here because you've got the Lions 3-point favorites in Dallas, and Dallas has not played well at home the last couple of times we've seen them, including last year in the playoffs. 51.5 is the number, which is a huge number, but this team, both teams, I should say, have a lot of playmakers, right? A lot of guys who can really bust open games on both sides of the football. You know, you have the Aiden Hutchinsons of the world and some other players on the defensive side to get Micah Parsons back healthy this week. We'll see. But the number here for Dallas plus 130, I still like Detroit in this game. The question is, can Dallas cover the 3? The way they've struggled at home, I'm going to say no. But rather than even worry about that, I'm just going to go right for the over, even though it's a higher number. And now, look, some of these higher numbers we've been under on recently for good reason. This one feels a little bit more Wild West to me. Again, with so many just inspirational talents and incredible playmakers on both sides of the football here for both of these teams, that's when scores can get very volatile. I'll take the over on a very high 51.5 early on here.
I like the Lions here. Coming off the bye week, yeah. I expect Dan Campbell to get everybody going, ready to go. You have the Cowboys coming off a really, really late game. Again, they played on Sunday night, but a game that went very, very late into the evening because of the weather delay. The Cowboys came away with the win. I would say they escaped a little bit with that victory. I think things kind of come back down to earth against the Lions. This is a rematch from last year, right? Where the Cowboys won on that weird, I think it was a touchdown that wasn't a touchdown. I have to go back and check the exact numbers for that particular matchup, but I'm pretty sure the Lions lost to the Cowboys last year in a very tight matchup. And I think Dan Campbell's going to get his guys motivated to win this game. So I like the Lions here. Again, when the Cowboys don't play the Steelers, who only play in tight games, the Cowboys play in blowouts. And to me, I think this is more likely to be a blowout for the Lions than the Cowboys actually showing up.
Sunday Night Football. The New York Football Giants are going to host the Cincinnati Bengals. I love what Joe Burrow said, which is after that tough loss there to the Ravens, he said, this is not a championship caliber football team. I love that kind of leadership where the quarterback's like, look, we're not there yet. We are not that team. Look, we're 1-4. This is who we are. And I think that sends a message to everybody that it's just not good enough. I love that. Now, it's just interesting because the Giants maybe get Malik Neighbors back this week. That's a huge piece. They are still 3.5-point underdogs at home. Even if Neighbors comes back, maybe this moves to the 3. Maybe. But the Bengals defense is not good. 48.5 is the number for this one. I'll take the over in this one too with the way the Bengals defense is played. Giants defense is not much better. And then you have the Giants at plus 150. It's tempting to take the Giants at home, but instead I'm just going to go for the over on the 48.5, which is already a big number. But the way Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase seem to get on the same page and T. Higgins coming back, the offense ain't the problem. The defense is the problem, and the defense is going to help get to this over. Andrew, what's your take?
The offense of the Bengals is cooking.
It is cooking.
It looks absolutely fantastic, and it sucks because
can't stop anybody, and the schedule sucked too.
The defense is so horrible. It's weird because I keep, when I handicap these games, look at the spreads, the Bengals keep losing games, and then, they're favored again by more than a field goal, even though they only have one win this season. The Bengals are a weird team because when you look at them, they're a team where nobody wants to face them in the playoffs because we know that with their offense, they could beat anybody, I think. But it's a matter of can they win in a track meet, essentially. So I think that they're a team that could be dangerous by the time playoffs come around, but it's a matter of can they just sneak in? Can they become that 7th seed? So that's kind of looking season long. But for this particular matchup, I think that we're probably going to get a letdown spot from the Giants, to be honest. I mean, they went on the road against Seattle. Major win, upset win. They get the field goal touchdown at the end of the game. The guy jumps over the snapper, which is always a really cool play because it's a penalty if you touch the guy. But if you go over all the way, it's a clean play. So I think the Giants come back to earth here. So I'm going to tentatively back the Bengals again.
Speaking of letdowns, I give you Monday Night Football. The Jets and the Buffalo Bills. The Bills coming off 2 straight losses. The Jets, they're coming off 2 straight losses. This one's in New York. Oh, baby, I can feel the crowd turning somewhere around 5 minutes into this game on the New York Jets. Oh, you can sense the disdain growing in the fan base. This is going to be tricky. Josh Allen, 7-4 in his career against the New York Jets. They are 2.5-point favorites. I don't think that's enough. I'm going to be honest with you. 41.5 is the number, plus 120. So here's the question, Andrew. It's the approach to this game. Neither offense has been really cooking these last 2 weeks. I think we can all agree on that. So 41.5, relatively low number. Is that still an under for you on Monday Night Football, or Do you think maybe these offenses break out a little bit against each other? I don't know. I'm still with the Buffalo 2.5. That's where I want to go and just keep it simple. How about you?
I think I still lean towards the under, unless I get news or we find out that Nathaniel Hackett was left in London and they didn't bring him back to the States. I can't back the Jets offense doing the right things and taking the steps to increase production. So we saw Garrett Wilson get 22 targets. He caught 13 passes. So again, they're still not functioning at a higher level. And you talked about this earlier with Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. They're starting to cook as they've getting more chemistry developing. Maybe we see that eventually with the Jets, but oh my God, why did they not take the bye week after playing in London? I don't understand that. That would have been the perfect time to be like, all right, let's get back to square one. Let's take Hackett out of the equation. We need new offensive production, new offensive ideas. Just move guys around. Let's get motion going. Let's do some things more unique to some of these more advanced offenses, just like Garrett Wilson was talking about. So for me right
honestly,
now, until I see...
Andrew, how about you just keep running the football more? How about you just
Yes,
more Braylon Allen? How about more Breece Hall? How about just run the ball and play defense and stop pretending that this is Aaron Rodgers from 2012? Because it's not. It's just not. I mean, the 2 games that they've won this year, very heavy RB usage in that offense, correct? Against the Titans?
You are
right?
correct.
And then on Thursday Night Football, right? Braylon Allen. Oh, who's this guy? I don't know, but look at him. He looks pretty good. Stop putting the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands. He is past his prime. Well, he was past his prime when he was still in Green Bay at the end. Come on. That's the secret sauce here. And if that happens, that's going to play to an under. And I just don't know if the Jets offense is smart enough to do that.
I agree with you. I'm not so sure. But I think from the Buffalo side as well, we saw Khalil Shakur miss this last game, and that was a big loss for the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that no receiver really step up in his absence, and we all like Shakir as, oh, this is a nice little slot receiver. He's got good chemistry with Josh Allen, but it showed up a lot last week where, no, that's his guy in the slot because Curtis Samuel comes in, doesn't do much. Dalton Kincaid doesn't have a big game. Keon Coleman makes 1 touchdown grab, but then he had another pass hit him directly in the helmet because he wasn't ready for it. So I think that the Bills are still going through growing pains in the post-Stephon Diggs era where, hey, sometimes when you put too much on Josh Allen, and sometimes he's not Superman. So again, he's also dealing with those injuries. We'll see if that leads to anything. I know he got banged up a little bit against the Texans. So I think right now, if I'm hopping on this, it's fade these offenses. They're going to both run the football. And primetime unders yet again.
Yet again, use the tools, everybody. Stay on top of things here in the betting world for week 6. Also, use the betting systems tool over at BettingPros too. Our new BettingPros betting systems tool is designed to help you find winning strategies and make smarter bets. You can customize your betting systems by sport, bet type, and time frame to make the best of the opportunities using real-time data and expert analysis and track the performance of different betting systems over time and optimize your bets to increase your chances of success. Again, download the BP app right now today, wherever you get your apps, and also subscribe to the Betting Pros channel here on YouTube. Drop your comments below. Let me know what your favorite early line selection of week 6 is. I want to hear from you. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For Andrew Erickson, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.